Here we have the charging system for a 2007 Toyota Camry 2.4. You have power that goes into the load and then to the ground. And then you have the motor and the ground for the motor. And then 2 more loads and power flowing through. And then the ground for the battery. Here we have the source voltage for our battery. Right now it's 12 point, we want it to be 12.6 or higher. Go ahead and crank it. Alrighty. And it didn't drop below 9.6 volt cranking, so it's good. Here we have the conductance test. And the reason for that is just to make sure the battery is up to par. I'm going to do add a vehicle, automotive, regular, CCA, and it's already at 690, which is what the battery is rated at. And this battery is good to go for the rest of our testing. We got our C-clamp on our positive battery cable. And crank it. Good. So we are going to test the voltage for the battery and the battery cable going to the starter. Now you want to plug your positive to the positive on the battery, and then you're going to take your negative and plug it up to the positive where the power goes into the starter. If I can find a good spot. And it's not supposed to drop below 0.5 volts. Hold on 1 second. Let me switch the range over to volts. Alright, start it up. And it is good. Okay, good. Alright. So the battery and the cable are going to be the test for the negative cable going into the starter. The negative battery cable. And you're going to put the negative lead on the negative terminal. And then your positive lead just to a spot on the starter. Okay, go ahead and start it up. It's going to be dropped below 0.5 volts. Good. And the negative cable is good. So I'm going to voltage drop the starter now, and you want to plug the negative up and onto the back negative cable or post, and then the positive to the positive post again. And start it. And that's in thin specs. So now we got our switch voltage. Let me just move that out of the way just a little bit. Oh, that's not gonna work. We got our switch voltage, negative to the negative post, positive to your S terminal, and then you wanna crank it. Crank it! And that is, I believe that is good. That is good. So here we're going to do the relay contact test. And we got a little adapter plugged up between the relay and the relay plug. That makes it easier to test it. And go ahead and crank. And that is within specs. So we're going to be testing the Holden coil right here. And we got the red cable, plug your positive, plugged up to your S terminal. And then you're going to take the black or the negative and just plug it up to anywhere onto the starter that you can find a spot. Alrighty. And it should be... So now we're going to test the Holden coil. You got your positive lead plugged up to the S terminal. Your negative lead is going to just go wherever you can find a ground spot on the starter that will hold. And that is within specs. Alrighty. And we're also going to go ahead and do the pull-in coil while we're at it. And with the pull-in coil, all you're going to do is take your negative lead and stick it way back onto your positive terminal. That's actually, you're not going to be able to see me doing this. But let me go ahead and show you guys a voltmeter. Or the ohm meter, actually. And it is good as well. And now we are checking the relay for the relay coil for its resistance. And as you can see, the resistance is good. This is just a current draw of the starting system. And you place your clamp onto the wire that goes from the battery into the starter. And you're gonna crank the engine for 15 seconds. Crank it. And it is good. This is the alternator. Got your housing compartment, the silver piece on the outside. And then this is your rectifier bridge with 3 legs. You got your regulator right here as well. And then you got your your stator and your rotor. And your rotor is going to go inside of your stator, inside of the actual alternator. This is going to spin, which magnetizes, this gets energy put to it, which magnetizes this and sends alternating currents through the stator. And I'll show you how it. You got that. So here we have your stator and your rotor of your alternator, as well as with the housing, with your rectifier bridge and 6 diodes on 3 legs, and then your regulator. Your rotator is gonna spin inside of your stator, which will switch magnetized polarities as it spins. And I'll just, whenever you add the power, hold on once, let me try to get it to stand. Whenever it has power, it becomes, hold on one second, becomes magnetized. It's supposed to. I'll try it. There we go. So here we have a separated alternator with your home piece. Your